Okay, it worked. Hi. Sorry for the delay in starting. We were just waiting for. Can't see the audience at all. That's great. It looks like no one's here. There's no one here. Thank you. Welcome to the fourth scratch. Thank you for the clapping. This is not a poetry reading. Yeah. So scratch is. I've been telling people that it's a new show every month, but that's the same language that people use for a work in progress, because it's like they've edited enough that it's almost like a new show every month. So nobody believes me that I am literally writing a new show every month from scratch. Okay, thank you. I started the project because I am better than everyone else, and I and I need an hour on stage. So that's what this is about. No, genuinely, what it is like health and mental health issues have made it difficult to maintain like, I don't know, a desire, I guess, to participate in minute open mics where everybody is doing the same 5 minutes that they've been doing the entire time I've known them. Too real. But yeah, I mean, I think I just wanted to give myself deadlines and something to work on every month, you know, while I've been sort of also working on health stuff. And this is what it is. It's me and 3 friends in a room. Hi! And you beautiful people online. Shout out to Cheryl, because I'm pretty sure that she's there.
Yeah, Cheryl.
And so this is this one. I'm gonna try to sit for this one a bit more. I always forget to sit, but I need to sit because back problems. I should just start taking lots of painkillers before the show. That'd make me really entertaining, you know? Just like, I don't know why I brought my phone with me. Here, can you take this? Yeah, let me just take all the energy out of the room with sit down. I'm gonna look at my notes because this scratch is the well, barring last time. Last month was chaotic at best, grueling, and unbearable at worst. But this this show is hopefully going to be a good kind of chaos. Did you turn up my volume? Is that what? Josh, do you want me to keep talking?
Thank you.
I'm still talking. All right, sorry, sound issues. The thing is, I don't want to kiss the microphone. It messes up my lipstick. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to keep talking. Yeah, that's my job up here with the microphone, to keep talking until it's over. Cool. Are we good, Josh?
You're only coming out with one side.
Oh, only one side. Okay. Well, it might be that this is the bad microphone. I mean, is it a problem?
Not a problem, but I just mean online. I wasn't sure.
I mean, it's probably not going to be super awesome online, regardless of. I mean, there's a yellow bar above it. I might even be speaking properly. Yay, chaos! I love this. Oh yeah, this is the first time that I'm trying the live stream as well. So bear with us with like literally everything. I'm so sorry. More than one ingestion is using the primary. So strange. What? I have no idea.
You say ingestion.
Ingestion is the word that YouTube is using.
Primary URL. That's. I don't know what that means. I don't know how to do that. It's not even like giving me the full information.
Can we ask the person who's there if they are actually seeing it?
Yes, person in the chat.
Type
like,
something in the chat if
please.
you know,
Yes.
if you hear what's happening.
Well, yeah.
Cheryl.
I could maybe we type that in the chat. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Hi. Okay. Hi, guys. That's so sweet. I love this. Okay, that's really interesting because it's only showing that there's one person, and there are two of you who are typing in. So I'm not really sure what that means. There's like an error message on here that says more than one ingestion is using the primary URL. Send one stream to the primary ingestion URL and one stream to, then it ends.
well, it seems like if they aren't having any trouble viewing, we can maybe just
Well,
leave it.
yeah, I guess if you guys aren't having trouble, then I don't care about YouTube's feelings. So we'll just keep going. All right. Cool. Let's see it over there, so. Yeah, that's much more useful. All right. So time for the funny bits now, right?
Sure.
Thank you. I think you can remind me to sit after a minute because I'm gonna maybe dance a little bit. Ooh, cool. We just lost the error message, so hopefully that means that this is streaming properly. Okay. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming and for bearing with us as we ran late, did weird sound things, and had tech trouble. So this is going so well. You guys can laugh at my jokes. Don't make me do it by myself. All right, so I really like life, don't you guys? Life is good. Good life. We fans of life. Okay, none of you.
Not today.
Yeah. All right. Well, I like life. I think life is pretty cool. You know, you get to like smell new things and well, I think it's try new things. That's what people like to do, right? Yeah, because you're not born knowing like what your favorite food is, right? You gotta try things to find out. So the best latte I ever had, I was in Montreal. And I went to great setup. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so I went to this cafe and I got a latte. Normal day, I ordered a normal latte as far as I knew. But when I tasted it, it tasted so incredible. It had like this herbal thing with it. It sort of tasted like it had a hint of rosemary or something. And I was like, what the fuck have they put in my latte? This is the best thing I've ever had. And I was raving about it for days, literally days. And I went back, a few days later to try to get a latte like that again. I just ordered a normal latte like I did the first time. But this latte was just a normal latte. And I was like, were they testing out like, I don't know, a different variety of beans or something? I don't know. So like I went back again because I mean it was like a shop down the street from where we were staying, and we went there a lot for bread, and it's kind of like Gale's, but like not racist. This place, that's the vibe. And I went in and I ordered another latte, and the lady behind the counter was like, "Oh my God, were you here last week? Did you get a latte last week?" And I was like, "Well, yeah. Were you trying like a new blend of like beans or something? Like, what was the deal with that?" And she was like, "I am so sorry. We were cleaning out the machine, and I hadn't rinsed this part, and it had soap in it."
Oh.
Best ever had in my life was latte.
Oh my God.
I have dreams about that.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that was definitely the stunning response that you want for the beginning of a show. Good job on me for that. But trying new things and being alive, those are things that we're going to talk about a lot this show, maybe sort of. So my name, as everybody here assembled knows, is Alessandor Earnest. When I was a kid, I didn't like my name. Lucky for me, we moved around a lot. So my mom didn't pay bills. We were on the road. So
So good.
so we would every time we would move to a new place, I would just get a new name. Like, did you know you could do that? Just get a new name. Yeah. So like when the teacher is calling roll and they get to your name, then you just say, "Oh no, teacher, I actually go by," and then insert name you've never gone by before here. And so I just like got to try all these different names. I was like, I went by Carlos for a while. I mean, just all kinds of things. But what I didn't anticipate is what would happen if I moved back to a place that I had already lived before. So I was going by a new name, and people who knew me by one name knew people who knew me as another, and they would have arguments over what my real name was. So to eliminate confusion, I started introducing myself as Alice and or the other name. And that's how I became Alessandor. You guys already know this, so this wows in crowds. No, that's fine. That's fine. I think everyone should choose their name. I think everyone should do that. I think it's a good thing to do because it's like my parents were not creative enough to come up with Alessandor. That's all me, baby. Like. I don't know. I just think like why would you stick with the thing that your parents chose for you, especially if you don't have a great relationship with your parents. I'm not saying anything about my relationship with mine, but I think it's kind of a helpful thing, and it can be kind of a nice burst out of the chrysalis situation, and you just become a seal or something if you're not down to be a caterpillar anymore. You don't have to be a butterfly. It's not all set out for you at birth. I don't believe in fate. Just weirdness. I don't know. I think I have a vibe. Right? Like I'm aware. I have a vibe. I think what my vibe is creative freedom. But it's not really clear if that comes from generational wealth or generational trauma. I'll let you decide. Leave that up to you. Ambiguity is key. I think I'm probably going to become famous for being an audience member before I ever get famous for doing comedy. Thank you for laughing. I do though, because I have been stopped in the street before by people who recognized me because I was in the front row of their show. Genuinely, this has happened several times. I think that's probably how it's going to happen for me. I'm just going to become a notorious front row sitter. I don't know. I think I might be a little bit of a people pleaser. Comedian, how original. So I think when I sit in the front row, I like to really participate, and I'm a really loud laugher. And one time it kind of went too far, and I got in trouble with the comedian. He took the stage and he was like, "You have been annoying me all night." It's not that what you're doing is wrong. Like if you were sat at the back, maybe it could come forward as like a gentle wave and add energy into the room. But where you're at, you're a tsunami, and my child has been swept away. Thank you, Daniel Kitson, for being kind to audience members. So that happened once. But yeah, usually it is appreciated. I think I'm pretty good at being an audience member. I should give you a demonstration, shouldn't I? That's yeah. Okay. So this is how you're doing it wrong. Yeah, that was my impression of you guys right now. And how I do it. This is how I do it. I'll be me in the audience, right? Okay. I always give myself applause breaks. I like to lead standing ovations at the end of shows. So many shows at theaters have gotten standing ovations because of me.
I love that.
It goes like this: you stand up when I'm finished here. You stand up, right, and you clap. You don't snap. Don't click your fingers. You clap like that. Yeah, microphone. microphone makes it louder. that's how. Yeah. That's why I got in trouble. Yeah. So all of that. Yeah. So I was bullied as a kid, obviously, and yeah, like. I used to wear crazy outfits and do like weird hairdos, and I actually had this thing where like every couple of weeks or so I would completely change the way I walked. So I would just like it was a bit like the Bureau of Silly Walks, just like just like we're walking in the lines to like the toilets or whatever, and I'm just like a penguin for a little while, and yeah, they didn't like that. So I got made fun of by everybody though. So I was like the most popular kid in school basically. And what I would do is I kept a notebook and I would write down everything that people said to me. And every time someone said something that someone else had already said, I would tell them how unoriginal they were. So I was kind of a bully. I tried to make togas a thing. But I had to stop because I don't like my big toes. I didn't realize that you could wear combat boots with a toga. That's like a real like punk rock look. So I thought you always had to wear sandals. So like, so I had to stop going to school in a sheet. My mom really didn't like my dress sense. Right? I guess it's like a normal thing. Like most parents are probably like not keen on what their kids wear to school. So she tried to control what I was wearing. And I didn't like that. So in a very typical teenage fashion, I thought, well, if you don't like what I wear, I'm not going to wear anything at all.
No.
And I went on a naked strike.
Oh, sick.
It didn't last very long, but I get cold easily. I don't know. I used to be really afraid of flying. Don't know if you can tell by my accent, but I'm from the US and I do remember 9/11. But I used to do a thing. I would do sort of like reverse affirmations in a way. I would just like sit there waiting for the plane, just thinking about every awful scenario that could happen, because I figured if I could think of it, it probably wouldn't happen. So I just like picture like terrifying deaths and like, the plane is crashing, we're getting taken over by like, I don't know, crazy people, just like awful, scary things. And that worked for me until things actually started to happen. So like, I've had some pretty scary like flights. Like for example, one time they lost my luggage. That doesn't sound that bad, but the reason they lost my luggage is because the flight was delayed because we had to make an emergency landing after our flight attendant broke her leg. Yeah, there was a lot of turbulence when we took off, and she broke her leg, and we had to, get her help. She was fine. I know she was fine because on the announcements they said that, they told us all the way along. They were like, okay, we need to make an emergency landing. Like we called Denver, we're gonna go there and reroute and all these things. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna get her a doctor. All these things. And like hours later, after, because it was from the U.S. to Amsterdam, I think. So they like told us like a few hours in, like, oh, we just received word, she's doing fine in the hospital. They've bandaged her up. She's good. So yeah, they lost my luggage. And but the flight I was on before that, someone died. And you can't really make an emergency landing for that. Yeah, because I mean, like, what are they going to do? It already happened, So yeah, that's like when someone dies on a flight, they just leave them there, and they tell the people around that they're asleep.
Oh my god!
And the reason I know this guy died is because they did not give us updates. They called for a doctor, and then did not say anything else after that. And then when I got off the plane, well, before I get off, you know how everyone like stands up to get their luggage? there's like a bum rush to the aisle, and everyone's just standing there for 45 fucking minutes with their bags. And well, they told us not to do that. They were like, please stay seated. There is someone who needs assistance getting off the plane.
Oh my god.
I need assistance with the plane, okay? I'm one of those people who needs a wheelchair because I get vertigo. So I can't stand in lines and stuff. I shouldn't be standing right now. So I know that, like, you know, if you need wheelchair assistance, you wait until everyone's done and then you go. They made us keep our seats to get this person off the plane. And then they just left him like right by the entrance in a body bag.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah. What the fuck? So so I, you know, it's kind of hard, the whole like imagining all the awful scenarios that you know are never gonna happen thing now, because now I've seen them actually happen, and I'm just like, how do I keep them from happening? But obviously it's not your thoughts that keep it from happening. That's very OCD. But okay, that's all of the, like, you know, I've had some other horrible stuff happen on airplanes, but I don't need to traumatize you more. Okay, let's talk about therapy, yeah? Trauma, anxiety, OCD, all that stuff. So obviously I have 2 therapists. And one week, they both told me they were proud of me.
Aww.
Guys, I started doing so much stuff to get that to happen again. I was doing so good for so many weeks, but it just, like, I don't know, I think they just got used to me doing good, so I had to sort of like, I was like, do I need to like have a breakdown and then improve again so that they can, I don't know, how do I get these people to need someone to be proud of me? Are you guys proud of me?
Yeah. So proud.
Someone be proud of me. I've been seeing the same therapist for like almost 10 years now, and we have a really interesting relationship. Genuinely, one time he told me that I have the biggest dick of anyone he's ever met.
Mm-hmm.
I think you would know. He's an LA gay.
Yeah.
But what he meant by that is I'm a pretty bold personality, so that's cool. I used to be a bit self-conscious about how large the life changes I seem to go through on a weekly basis, where I always felt like I had some new drama to tell him every single week for years and years and years. And I expressed my self-consciousness to him, and he was like, what are you talking about? I get to tune in every week and hear my stories. Like, my life is a soap opera. This is a person I want to be proud of me. I don't know what that says about me. But I have a very, very odd relationship with this therapist. He's very, very shortly after I started seeing him, his husband died. And I,
On a plane.
not on a plane, no, not on a plane. Fuck. Wouldn't that be hilarious though? No, he just died in a normal way, I guess. But what? But him dying is the reason that we don't have a normal relationship, because you know, it's supposed to, like, patient therapist relationships are supposed to be professional, and I just can't seem to have a professional relationship with fucking anyone. So what happened with this therapist? When his husband died, he was not doing well. Surprise. Yeah, it's weird. Like, you know, like when someone dies, you don't do weird. Like, I don't know what to do. Yeah. Anyway, so I loaned him a book, and his husband was an architect, and like a well-paid architect. And therapists in the U.S. don't make a lot of money. So when his husband died, he had to sell the condo that they had been living in and get rid of everything, basically, which is an additional devastating loss on top of an already really tough life experience. And I was like, take photos of everything where it lives. Like his shoes lined up in the hall, his coats in the closet. Like, take photos so that you have that and you remember what his life was like. I mean, because that's the thing, because when someone dies, you don't just like, lose the person, you also lose like part of your life. And on top of that, he was losing his home and all of his husband's things and all of the smells, all of this stuff. And so, I said, you have to document it, you have to. And yeah, so that's how I made my gay best friend in LA. But I mean, I think when something like that happens, when your personal life kind of, impacts your ability to be professional, that can, cause the relationship to not quite be, patient therapist, right? Yeah. So when I started living out of a suitcase, I had to liquidate my collection of vintage clothing, and he was like, "You can't separate the collection." And he said something about Tina Turner, and that he had a spare closet that I could use, and so he stored my vintage clothes for years. Yeah. Which I feel like is just like I feel like I'm one of the very few people who can say something like that. Yeah, I have a collection of vintage clothes in storage in LA with my therapist.
That sentence has never been uttered by anyone ever before except for you.
Yeah, for me. Yeah. I mean, but this is my life. It's there's all these kinds of like wild like circumstances. Like I have a friend who's a famous movie writer, and I met him in a vintage shop around the corner from my flat. A vintage shop, by the way, which has some crazy stories about it, but I'll tell this one first. So I went there, and there was a photographer who would go there every Saturday to take photos of the people shopping and the clothes that they were trying on. And there was an older man there who he put in a flamenco dress, and he put me in a three-piece suit, and he had us pose as like American Gothic. And I don't know, I got the vibe from this guy that he was sort of like looking for a sugar baby. There's no other way to put it. So I was dismissive and rude. And I think he thought that was really funny, and that's how we became friends. But yeah, he's a like basically a national treasure for writing comic books and movies. He's just a lovely person, and I'm not looking for a sugar baby. Damn. But what? Well, I think I've been too nice to him over the years. But yeah, this vintage shop was crazy. There was a woman who went there who was the secretary for a woman who had escaped Germany during the Holocaust. And when that woman died, she left her entire art collection and all of her belongings to her secretary. And she didn't know what to do with them. So she took them to this vintage shop. She was like, "You boys love Jeff Koons, right?"
Oh my god.
And Keith Haring and all these things. Like it was incredible, this art collection. A lot of it was degenerate art from Germany that she had escaped the Holocaust with. And there's this priceless book by George Gross. It's I always mess up the pronunciation. I think it's Exe Homo. And most of them were burned by the Nazis. Guess what I paid $500 for? Yeah. Crazy stuff. Anyway, so that's my humble brag of the day. I guess I thought I had more written. I guess, yeah, I mean, I have all these like, silly show and tell things like sounds that I can make. It's just like a fun show and tell situation. Yeah, because I can bark like a dog. I can sound like a tea kettle. I can whistle like a cricket. Cricket? Well, let's do it. See if I remember how to do it. What?
Oh, that sounded like cricket.
That's two different parts of my anatomy that I'm not sure I can orchestrate together. But that sounded way.
Parts of your
Yes, girl.
Okay.
You saw that.
All right, so no,
You have to twerk, there needs to be a paywall for that.
Yes.
join my OnlyFans. Yeah, okay. Maybe the microphone isn't good for. Let's see if I can find my kettle. Nope. Nope, it's not there. Okay, might take me a minute. I forget how to do it because it's a physical thing, and I'm basically it's crazier.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I've just decided that's
It can go higher. I'm not doing it correctly because I can actually go higher than that, and I can't remember how. And then
Oh, I'd like to cook it.
Cricket. You asked for the people.
I know, I'm so sorry.
Wow. That's incredible. Dude, that's
I think I've just forgotten what a cricket sounds like.
what?
Cricket made that kicking noise.
They rub their legs together.
It's like.
Yeah. Don't question my animals.
I know it went clicking.
Yeah. I could probably do that too. No, that's not it. That's the ring sound. I can sound like the wind of the eaves.
Virgos.
Oh, that's so much personality.
Yeah, I'm glad to be doing ASMR for you guys. And OnlyFans. I learned how to whistle when I was 4. And I used to like fantasize about doing like competitive whistling.
Sure.
It is a thing. It is a thing.
But
I think that was the moment that I became self-aware. Because it's the earliest. Well, it's not the earliest memory I have. My earliest memory was my mom tried to put me in a frilly pink dress, and I took it off and ran down the garden path screaming, "I'm free! I'm free!"
Yeah.
And I think I was about 2 when that happened. But
And that's the DNA of your whole life.
yeah, I've got a lot of naked stories. Tune in next time.
For your OnlyFans.
Next month I'm doing a show called The End, which is about the world. I don't think I'll have much nude material in that one, but I think I might do an hour about naked stuff. I probably have well over an hour of naked stories. I need to think about. That would be great. I think that's what I'll do. I'll just have the audience be naked, and then I'll be clothed, and I'll be the nudist on strike. And we can all just be naked and sweaty together, and it'll be like one person who I've never met before who's like just gonna be like, fighting off the erection.
Wow, we found you in your OnlyFans.
Never bring a cucumber to a knife fight. I'm not sorry. So I wanted to do competitive whistling, but I also wanted to do competitive race walking. That was. Everyone's seen the Malcolm in the Middle episode? No? Well, you have, I know. But all right.
Power walking is something Olympics, isn't it?
It's not power walking. It's race walking, and it is an Olympic sport. And you like the technique is very like
Like
I can't do it in these
like
shoes.
you're gonna vogue.
It's I guess. So the rule
you can walk without running.
basically, yeah. So the essence of it is the key rule is you have to have at least 1 foot touching the ground at all times. So they have cameras all on the ground. It's great for foot fetishists because they're all just watching the feet the whole time to make sure you have at least 1 foot on the ground at all times. And what this has done is, you want to make the stride as long as possible while always keeping 1 foot on the ground and moving as quickly as possible. So the technique is like very hip and groovy. All right. But I didn't end up actually doing race walking. But I was talking to a friend once about like sports stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'm not really very sporty, and because this friend knows that I play draw harp, he assumed that any sport that I was involved in would be a very weird one, and I was like, yeah, I was into race walking, and he thought that I was doing a bit, but that is genuinely a sport that I was interested in doing. A sport that I do frequently now is upskirting, which I don't mean the same as everybody else who uses that term. So upskirting for me is when I take a photo of a building from down below. I like just the geometry against the sky. But it's really fun to like walk around in public talking about, ooh, that's a really good upskirt, and like let people overhear that.
You said it, and I knew exactly what you were talking about.
I know. This is the problem of doing a comedy show to my friends. Like nothing surprises you because you already know. All of my humor relies on surprise. Well, why aren't you laughing?
I've had a hot day.
I used to have a dildo collection. Not for me, for mine. I had a friend. I still have a friend. She's my friend still. She's still a lesbian. But at that time, she was going through something, and also going through women like some people go through pants. Yeah, just a new one very regularly. I hope people change their pants often. I don't know. I'm not going to judge you for your undie hygiene, but you should be changing those regularly. And if they get holes, get new ones. This has been a PSA. Yeah, but so every time she got a new girlfriend, though, she would get a new dildo because she thought it was disrespectful to sort of cross-contaminate. So she'd just give me the old dildos.
Oh,
Recycling.
Do you know how expensive dildos are? Like, it was just insane. There's how rapid.
Surely she had other friends she could give her dildos. Like, you already had one.
Who else can you think of who might actually accept that? Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, oh, old dildos? Fine, I'll just put them in a row. I like one of them was like the suction cup kind.
Oh, yeah.
Used by a lesbian couple. Yeah. I didn't sell them though. I used them in art projects because this was happening while I was in art school. So I used to just incorporate them in installations around the art building. There was one I really liked that had a suction cup, and so I would just, and it would just
yes, so good.
just at eye level, like. Yeah. And I had it for years as a decorative piece in my flat. It was stuck to the rail on my bed, and
Have a seat.
yeah. And then there was this other one that I had in a box for a short period of time, but it was like curled up on itself. And when I pulled it out of the box, it had maintained that shape. It was curved. Ooh, you sound very interested in that. Okay. All right. You're dating my friend. I don't need to know. Yeah. But
Are you blushing?
am I blushing?
I didn't know you could.
Am I blushing?
I don't know. You tell me.
Cheers.
Okay, that was deflection.
I'm allowed to. I'm the one with the microphone.
You're just hot from the lights.
I'm just hot.
Yes, it's not. Yeah, she's so hot.
Okay. Do we want an instrument tour? That's all I've got left on here. Just All right. Instrument tour. That requires getting out the instruments. You're welcome.
Yay! That's an instrument.
So the first instrument I learned how to play. The first instrument I learned how to play was a jaw harp. Well, that's not technically true. I was in marching band. I did play bass drum, and I did play the biggest bass drum, which meant that I only hit my drum about once a minute, because the other ones were doing it more. Anyway,
My brain stopped processing. Words for a second.
it is quite warm in here. I'm kind of just saying stuff and hoping that somebody will laugh. Please give me your laughter. So this is a jaw harp, and this is a Vietnamese moi, and it's basically just a thin piece of brass that someone has cut a V into. And I used to take these to parties, and drunk people love them, and they want to try. It does lead to mouth bleeding.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I stopped showing drunk people at parties that I have jaw harps. But like, gosh, they're so good. They're so good. Get up here and dance. Get one of these for $5. Really like this instrument. I was in a hobgoblin the other day, months ago actually, maybe last year, and but it infuriated me because the guy in there, I was there with a friend, and I was like, oh, like I play jaw harp, and my friend might want one, so let's get him a Dan Moi. That's like the cheapest one. It's easy to play ish, and that'd be good. And he was just like, Dan Moi, those are pieces of crap, and it's like, babe. The technology of this thing. It's just a thin piece of brass, and it sounds like that. I'm fucking impressed. This is a nose flute, and you play it by blowing through your nose, but not with snot. And you move your mouth to make the sounds, to adjust the tones. It's like the body of a guitar. But it's a whistle. I don't know. You'll hear. So some people play music on this instrument. I do bird sounds with this instrument. Yeah, usually what I do is I put on a bird mask and I harass people. And I have a sign that says, pay me to stop. And people do. This is a professional kazoo. And I know you guys knew that this existed because you've seen me play it before, and you know how fucking excited I am about it. But yeah. Sorry? 2 words that belong. Yeah. Well, they pay me to stop, so that counts. And it's really loud and sounds beautiful. You guys have to help me with this one.
Oh my god.
This is not a good mic stand.
It's hot.
I feel hot. It's very warm. Okay. You're gonna help me with the song, yeah? Okay. Thank you to one person for shouting tequila.
I'm just listening. I'm just figuring out I have an aversion to some very specific sounds.
As we learned at the beginning of the show. Okay, well, yeah, That makes me feel really good about myself.
Just that.
Do you know this bitch the other day? We were walking and she just looked at me and she was like, "I really like the way you walk."
Yes, that's
No, this was an awful thing to say because I was like, "Why do you like my walk?" And she was like, "Oh, because you're so stiff yet graceful." I've never been so self-conscious.
I'm so sorry. Suddenly you're like, wait, do I know how to walk?
Yeah, genuinely. Yeah, but again, I did change the way I walked regularly as a small child. So it's always been something that I thought about.
Did they do that at drum school? They like deconstruct your walk. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. To you.
No, it's fine. This is a joke thing.
Oh, a joke.
This
Oh, they're
is
comedy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing
Bit.
bits.
Bits.
Bits and tits. Bits. And this is all for the bands. Okay. Well, yeah. So I'm out of notes.
That's okay. Just talk.
We've been going for almost 45 minutes.
You said an hour.
I mean,
This is an escape room. You can't.
I could keep talking. I don't mind. I mean,
Was there anything you want to
anything I want to try. Is there anything I want to try? I want to try.
I think you should try playing the physics down the microphone for effect.
Oh my god. He has the worst ideas. He has the worst ideas.
I will.
Okay, let me just roast you guys. I'll just roast you.
Yeah.
This guy,
Very fragile.
I honestly though, I don't really know you well enough to say anything that's actually mean or insightful. So,
The only thing I can say about you this man is that you're so nice.
it's a bit upsetting actually. You are
You're so nice, and sometimes I'm like, fuck you, tell me the truth.
I don't disbelieve her. I believe every nice thing that she does because I don't think she's actually nice.
Oh.
Tell me more.
I think there's a distinction between nice and kind.
Yes, very good.
I think British people are nice.
Yeah, but they're
I do think British people are nice. I think British people are nice because they are polite. I think that they courteous. Yeah. Well, I don't think that's quite the same thing that I mean. I think courtesy is something you extend to strangers, and nice sometimes you do that to your friends, and I don't think that it's a good thing. It's a bit like just doing what's expected of you, or sort of. Yeah, and your heart's not really in it. But I think where kindness is, you're genuinely, that's why I don't think you're nice. I don't think I'm nice either.
No, you're not.
Too direct, too loud and obnoxious and American.
Someone said to me, I'm kind, so I don't have to be nice.
Yeah, I think I align with that because it's when your friends ask you for criticism, how are they going to believe you if you only say like positives? How are they going to? Yeah, I mean, and if you're only saying negatives, you're probably just an asshole. So, yeah, I try to tell the truth. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, I was supposed to talk in this show a little bit about authenticity versus vulnerability because I think people get the two mixed up. Cool. We're at 45 minutes, and I've hit the sad part. Well, I do think that people get authenticity and vulnerability mixed up because yes.
Say it's just me so much when you sit on your nose.
Wait, I need
It
this.
causes me
This is
visceral
This
discomfort.
is a picture. And
Your feet are out.
I
Your
know.
feet are fully out. Like, tell me more about visceral discomfort with your tootsies just raw dog in the place.
You're just sitting on your nose.
And I'm holding my. I don't know. Well, look, I do think. Back to the topic at hand. Well, I've.
What is the difference between authenticity and vulnerability?
Well, I think I'm quite an authentic person, but I don't think that I'm a vulnerable person. Vulnerability basically is when you're saying something and there's risk involved. Like you say something to someone and maybe it's something they could use against you or something they could judge you for, or like there's a sense of discomfort in it.
Or like ruin your life. It could ruin your life.
Yeah, I mean, there's risk involved, any kind of risk, whatever that may be, risk of shame, embarrassment, or a murder. I don't know.
Sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you're not going to get naked with Steve that you just met. I don't know. Maybe some people would. I don't know, but that's the thing, is right, because like vulnerability is different from different people.
I would get naked.
Well, look, okay, so Steve, we'll just say that there's a Steve, and it's not the Steve that you actually know, if you know a Steve. This is a hypothetical Steve. So a hypothetical Steve, for some people, maybe they're very comfortable getting naked with Steve the first time that they meet him, and this is fine. We don't slut shame, but for other people, it would feel vulnerable to get naked with Steve on the hypothetical Steve on the first meeting, and I think I fall into that category, which means that I would not get naked with Steve. So yeah, I'm smart. I'm also not particularly prolific in the sexual department, but I think that I tend to avoid that risk feeling generally, but I'm very comfortable talking about my period. I'm very comfortable talking about things that other people find vulnerable to talk about. So they think that I am comfortable with vulnerability, but I'm not. No jokes, just truth. I guess this is the poetry part. You can snap. You can do the click your fingers. Yeah. I'm so glad to see you're no longer texting.
I was making notes in the chat.
Oh, where are you? Okay.
I
saw you guys side-eyeing several times.
I can buy from there.
Yeah. I really think that humor is a thing that people do as a coping mechanism. That's why this show is called Joking Mechanism. Yeah, well, because I look back on those stories that I told you guys, and we quietly laughed at most of them, but but at the time they weren't funny, you know. They were scary and sometimes traumatizing, and yeah, I think. You know, they say comedy plus time equals. Sorry, no, they don't. They don't say comedy plus time equals tragedy. Tragedy plus time equals comedy. I like the other one better. That's imagine that. Imagine that. Yeah, in a different direction. But so maybe comedy minus time equals tragedy. We'll workshop it. But yeah. I think that's a. What the fuck are they doing in there?
They were doing a keto in that room, so who knows what's going on in that one.
I don't know. This is a crazy building.
What aren't they doing? What aren't they doing?
They're not playing professional kazoo. I can say that much. That was probably pretty annoying when I did that. Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. Actually, I don't think I did forget. I think I just was waffling on and just hoping it would end up somewhere interesting, but it didn't, kind of petered out.
I wonder if you would you kind of take this, because I like what you said about the distinction between authenticity and vulnerability and where you are on that spectrum. Can you wrap up that thought for us?
Yeah, okay, so tragedy plus time equals comedy. And I think, yeah, when you have distance from the thing that happened, it was maybe at the time it was too vulnerable for me to share. And I wouldn't have talked about it. But now it's so far away that I can't really feel it anymore. And that's why it's happening on stage. We have that levity, and I'm able to turn it into a joke. And I can joke now about things that were hard in the past, but I probably couldn't make jokes about things that are hard now. Not just probably, definitely. I've tried it. I tried talking about my dead friend on stage. Oh my God. I thought it was funny. But then a few months later, I looked back at what I had written and I was like, oh God, this is really devastating. Yeah. That's why I sort of like took a break from comedy for a while, because I figured even if I got on stage and was like, just, I don't know, bitching about Jaffa cakes, which I think are a fucking abomination. I figured like even then that the miasma of grief would infect the room and everyone would know, you know, even if I was just talking about something completely off topic, because I think as the person with the microphone and the professional kazoo, I have a duty to the people in the room to not ruin their night, and to share a bit of joy. You know, that's sort of what we're here for, is to like invite you into a bit of, you know, soap latte. Because that was not a traumatic experience. I think about that so often. That was such a good latte.
I just want to have you try to recreate that. So
Yeah. So
just so.
yeah. Well, so I never go anywhere without bubbles. No, I haven't made it with soap, but I have put rosemary in so I make coffee with a percolator. In the middle part where you put the coffee grounds. But like that's actually not the best place to put it. I usually put it in the bottom with the water. And then,
I heard they say that some people taste it. And it tastes
That's
like
coriander. Yeah. Fuck that. That's the wrong kind. Like, because this soap didn't taste like coriander. It tasted like rosemary.
It's been like, and Cindy, but what soap do you use?
Look, this was Montreal. It was some hippy dippy shit, you know? Like, it was probably rosemary scented soap. I don't know why you're using scented soap to clean out your coffee maker, but like, I'm not judging. I had the best latte of my life. We're thankful for those experiences where we get to try new things, even if it's a bad thing. You know, I love that. I think we learn so much more sometimes from like a negative experience, because then we can say, nope, not that, or yes, please, more soap latte. I'm ready for my standing ovation.
Wait,
Oh,
you're
sorry.
not ready yet.
No, I was
honest like
I was
that.
prevented from standing
No,
on the
you have
record
to show us
show.
a proper fucking cue. We can't just stand. Blow bubbles until
There
we
was a
feel
final
ready.
line that was there, I think.
Was it?
There's a final line you could have, like, because it's like a saying that you have to try things in order to. So, like, maybe you have to be vulnerable in order to. And then, because then.
Are you trying to get me naked?
Hey!
That's not vulnerable for me though.
I used to eat bubbles as a child. That's probably why I make it.
That makes sense.
I liked the taste. And so do you apparently.
Apparently, yeah.
Yay. Oh, it's so beautiful.
So the final line, was that something I said or something that was implied?
It felt like you were going to kind of make a like pull it back to going. You're like, you have to try and learn from experiences.
Well, you do learn from like some. You can't hold yourself back and not go out into the world. You have to get on the plane.
Some people don't.
I'm
Like
making
my
a big
mom.
speech, bitches.
Okay, that's it.
Sometimes you have to do scary stuff. Sometimes you have to do scary stuff. You have to get on the plane. You have to drink a soap latte. You can't just sit inside all the time, just like waiting for things to be easier, because you're not going to start out good. This show, God, it's awful. It's all over the fucking place. Who the fuck knows what I'm talking about? Who knows what I'm doing? I'm in a room with 3 disinterested people who love me very much. and are encouraging me in ways that I think an ordinary audience would not. And you have to, like, even if you're uncomfortable with vulnerability, you have to do it, because how are you ever going to become an expert in something if you never begin beginning? Begin beginning. Is that a good ending?
It felt like you were setting out to do something vulnerable.
Do something vulnerable. What am I going to do? Do you want me to take my trousers off?
But it's like, because you're like, oh, you have to do the vulnerable thing. So like, when the show is finished, it feels like you're setting out to do something you've done vulnerable.
Well, I think that's hard for me because what would I do?
I don't know. I don't know what you find vulnerable.
Neither do I. That's the whole point.
Sorry.
Maybe you just always. I know what you actually know.
What?
I think you found trying to do parameters vulnerable when people were just telling you what to do and you had to try and follow it.
You guys have been telling me what to do, and I have been following
That is true.
right now.
But it seemed like you, that was my.
I think you want things. I think you want things, and you want a very particular kind of thing, and I don't always want the same thing you want. And that's not being vulnerable. That's having discernment. Sometimes he compliments me, and I don't know if he genuinely means it as a compliment in the way I want to be complimented, or if he means that it was so bad that it was like John Waters level good. That's Josh's taste. All right. I still haven't had a standing ovation. I mean,
Would you like one now?
the show's not over until you're all standing. And we're at 9 o'clock and have to be out of here. If you guys stuck around, I really, really appreciate that. And
We love you!
thank you.
Cheryl!
Thank you so much
Later.
for enduring that.